Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we just got back from watching Fantastic Four First Steps. We're going to give you an honest review of it. You know, the drill here, guys. You know the drill. There are going to be some spoilers later on in the video. We'll do the spoiler-free review first.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited.
Yeah, so, okay, backstory. Kneon was so worried this movie was going to suck. Like, you don't understand. He was looking forward to this one the most. It was what he wanted to see the most, and he was hearing it might not be great, and he was getting very, very worried. And I wanted it to be really good just for his sake.
So this one, as far as my comic collecting trajectory, I had three main Marvel series titles, universes that, well, not universes, but families of comics that I followed, and it was X-Men, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. I always followed those comics. If I could only buy a handful of comics every month, it was X-Men, Spider-Man, and Fantastic Four in that order. And yeah, I really was looking forward to this movie because of the visuals originally, because I'm a huge fan of that retro futuristic look, that early 60s space age look.
I also am a big fan of that, yes.
And when they said they're going to have the movie take place in like a retro futuristic 60s, I was like, okay, this is fantastic, no pun intended, because that's going to jive really well with, Jack Kirby's artwork and the zaniness of early Marvel. And then, as more stuff started to come out about the movie, I'm like, oh no.
Basically, when the actors started speaking.
When the actors shot their mouths off, yes. I am happy to report that this is one of those cases where the actors actually really should have just shut up and let the movie speak for itself. Yeah. Because we had the actor playing Johnny Storm saying that Johnny was a kinder, gentler Johnny. He was, he was Johnny Storm. I mean, he was. Mm-hmm. He was. Sue, while she was very important to the plot and she was a huge decision maker, she was not the leader of the team. I mean, I would say the team, they were co-leads, but definitely.
Yeah, it seemed like they all worked together. Like they were actually like a unit. It wasn't just like, yes, it was. I think it was the best adaptation as far as it goes, as far as getting the whole family dynamic, team dynamic correct.
Getting that right, and that was the problem I had with the other Fantastic Four movies. Is one, they were woefully miscast. I think a lot of them. I thought Johnny Storm was good, and I thought Thing was good, and I thought Silver Surfer was good. Everybody else, nah, not so much. But that dynamic was not there. They made it really jokey and sitcom-like, and that's not the Fantastic Four.
No.
And
even though there was jokes in it, but they felt more like you're ribbing with your family.
Yeah.
And stuff. And they made jokes about the obvious, like Johnny Storm's making jokes about the hot naked lady and stuff.
Yeah, they're self-aware. I mean, we'll get there. We'll get to some of the nitpicks, but like the core of the Fantastic Four, the characters they got right. Now, I could nitpick Reed Richards because I look at him, I still see Pedro Pascal.
Actually, Pedro Pascal, I think, did a really good job at acting in this one. And that's saying something, because for Pedro Pascal, he did a good job acting in this one.
He actually did good. Yeah. I mean, I still was like, okay, it's Pedro Pascal in the Fantastic Four suit, but like I don't know, it seemed like there was more range in this movie than he usually shows, right? Is it comic book accurate, Reed Richards? Well, they got the nerdiness right, and they've leaned more into the nerdiness in more recent years. But really, Reed Richards was a very brainy kind of leading man, and so I mean, whatever. I've got some nitpicks, but overall, my expectations were on the floor for this one, and this is the one I was the most excited about, and I walked out happy. Like that.
Yeah, which is
do you know how rare it is for me to walk out happy from a movie these days?
Especially
I walked
going
out
into
happy.
it expecting not to like it. Like,
right.
I mean, honestly, went into it. Like I always say, I don't go into something like trying to destroy it, but I also, I never want a movie to fail except for like Snow White. That one deserved to fail. But you go in there, and I've come out surprised lots of times or disappointed other times. And this is one that came out that I was like, this is good. Like there was 5 of us again, and we all thought it was good. And now our friends said the same thing like last time. While the bar for this one was very low. So, there's that. But I think it far exceeded what people were hoping for, and it did a good job. You can get mad about it. No matter what we say, people are gonna get mad one way or the other. But it did a good job. I think it did.
Because it's a Disney product, because it's a Marvel thing. There are going to be people that are just going to be like, hey, wallet closed. And I completely understand. I completely understand that. I'm sick of Marvel too. I haven't watched most of the last Disney Plus shows. I haven't watched them. The last movie I think I saw in the theater was Doctor Strange 2. And I haven't really kept up with it because I haven't cared. The Fantastic Four are kind of near and dear to me, so it was like, okay,
but you're going to be more critical. You're going to be more critical.
I am going to be more critical.
I would be, because that's not something I used to read all the time. But like this one seems to me it wasn't the same tired, stale MCU that we've been seeing.
No, and I think that was what was so refreshing about this. I'm gonna be honest, this didn't feel like a Marvel movie. Like even
the Thunderbolts, and that's what I said. It's like it didn't feel like a Marvel movie, but it was good because it didn't feel like a formulaic Marvel movie.
Squid King was even like, yeah, did you notice that they, like, there were jokes, but like you said, it was like family ribbing and but wasn't like the obvious, Marvel humor. Marvel humor when you see it. It's kind of tired and whatever. No, it actually, and the humor fits with the time period. It felt like there were actual stakes. It felt like these people actually cared about each other. Now, the only minor gripe is, we know this is leading into Doomsday, so of course we're going to have to advertise that next movie, but it wasn't as overt and obvious as it is in other movies. Like, oh, we're going to set up a spinoff with
it was like it was just the end credit scene. They didn't allude to it in any other way, so it wasn't like it was all building to that. I just thought it just felt. I think because of what the time frame it was set in and everything too. It was so far removed from, like, it's kind of more like Captain America where you're in a different time, so it kind of feels like its own thing. And it's a little, it's not the same as like, oh, here's another superhero in current year. Doing current year bullshit.
Yeah, and this is obviously a Trump analogy. Galactus is obviously Trump. No,
it wasn't like that. And the thing is, they got Galactus right.
They did get Galactus right.
I think he looked great. I could not bring myself. Wait, that's not true. I wanted to buy the popcorn bucket for Kneon, but he didn't want it because he couldn't justify the.
It's $80. It's an $80.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah.
But no, Galactus, I wasn't disappointed at all. I mean, and we'll talk, we'll talk more spoilers or whatever later, but like the female Silver Surfer, look, I'm gonna be honest. I really wish to God it was Norm Rad. I wish it was Norm Rad. That would have been awesome. That would have been amazing. It would have been, but I mean, it's gonna be really hard to top. That was one thing they did get right in the 2000s movies was Surfer. The Surfer was amazing. He was great. He was comic book accurate. He was fantastic. Again, no pun intended. But she was okay. She was all right.
Yeah, she wasn't bad. I just don't think the art design for her was as good as
the art. Yeah, I think it just didn't really. It was. I
think they're trying to humanize her more.
Yeah, because she had the ears and she had the the
There's
hair.
A reason, and we'll explain that later. I think they're trying to humanize her more. But you said about stakes and stuff being involved, and I know, like, I was holding your hand. I felt bad because, like, towards the end I was squeezing it. I know I was. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was so into it. I was just like squeezing your hand. Like, I was like, what's going to happen? Even though it was a lot of the things people leaked earlier about the story was what happened.
There were some that did not happen. And I'm wondering, because I've heard they had, they reshot the ending or whatever. And there's some things I think they toned down. I think if they'd gone with what was the original leaked ending, it would have been a downer of a movie. But like,
you have to tell you what that was when we do spoilers, because I don't know. What
I liked it. I legitimately like this movie. This is the first Marvel thing since Spider-Man No Way Home that I can say I actually enjoyed, like, immensely. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, it was okay, it was another Marvel thing. This is like, no, I actually enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I think they actually did right by the Fantastic Four. They haven't for so long. They deserve better. I mean, it was Marvel's first superhero team, and legendary Jack Kirby worked on this, and it just so many ideas came from the Fantastic Four and bled out into the other comics, and it sucked that they didn't have all the rights at this, to start with Tony Stark and not start with Fantastic Four. I just really felt weird.
Well, I mean, they do get a nod in there to Kirby and Stan Lee and stuff in the
yeah. This movie felt to me like it was done by people that actually gave a shit about the legacy of these characters, and that I haven't felt that way about Marvel in a very long time. Like, you know, you watch these Marvel movies and you're like, oh, they're just phoning this in. They don't really care about these characters. They're not even making an attempt to get this right. There are a lot of you know, eagle-eyed comic fans. There's a lot of deep cuts in this for people that are fans of the Fantastic Four comics, and unfortunately, they cut John Malkovich out of it. He was going to be.
Yeah, I thought that he. Yeah, I forgot that he was supposed to be in it.
But no, I guess I'm surprised that I didn't. I mean, again, all the leaks or most of the leaks were true, but it all comes together really well, and you know, Sue Storm, and I was so afraid because the trailers always saw were, you know, it was Sue. It was all Sue, and yeah, Sue's incredibly important. They're all important. In fact, I think a lot of the time is spent just with the guys trying to figure out, you know, what to do. It wasn't a girl boss movie. I don't think on any level.
It's like the one part I think probably people are going to go to that and be like in that regard, and I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to tell you what that is. We will talk about the spoilers, and that was the only part. But even then, there's a reason for it. So everything had a reason, and it flowed really well. It made, I mean, it just felt like, you know, it wasn't there just to be a, you know, go girl power, go whatever agenda, whatever. It wasn't like that at all. The closest thing anybody's going to get to saying it's woke is probably about, you know, Sue Storm, and I would argue that's not even true.
No, I would say Sue was acting like a mother. That's just leave it.
Yeah, we won't ruin anything else, but I mean, that's what I think.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there like running it through my mind, and it actually was like fairly patriotic. Like we had, you know, flag waving.
They had USA on their ship. And...
Yeah, 1960s like space age, and it just, I don't know. I mean, I walked out of the theater. I'm like, I actually feel pretty good about this one. Like, it reminded me of why I love these comics so much. And I know people are going to, you know, come away from it and have a total, and that's fine. You're allowed to hate this movie. All I can say is, like, I was more excited for Superman. I felt really let down by Superman because it didn't feel like a Superman movie to me. It felt like a Justice Gang movie.
It felt like a James Gunn movie. I mean, the longer I think about it, the less I dislike it. Like, I still can remember all the good. I'd watch it again. I gave it a better score than you, but I do feel like it felt too gunny. But I also think there's really good parts too, which we talked about at length. Again, you're allowed to like it. You're allowed to not like it. You can totally disagree with us, and that's completely fine. We get it. We're not going to be nasty to you in any way if you're not agreeing with us. I mean, I totally get where you're coming from.
This was really probably for the first time a Fantastic Four movie. Like, all four of these characters done justice, right. I think. Yeah. Especially Thing too. Thing kind of got, I mean, I thought Chickless I thought was pretty good as Thing, but you know, but I mean, they had the whole Yancey Street thing going on. They made sure you knew he was Jewish, but it wasn't like in your face. It was just like, you know, he went to the synagogue.
In passing, yeah.
Yeah. He likes to cook. People are like, they're making fun of it in the trailer. Like, why is Thing cooking? I'm like, because he cooked in the comics. Did you read the fucking comics? He cooked in the comics. That was kind of funny. It was funny. He was a big orange rock guy who liked to cook. The beard thing wasn't as cringe.
There's a reason for it.
There's a reason for it. It actually makes, that's the thing. This movie actually felt like they thought it out. It didn't feel like they were just trying to throw a bunch of ideas against the wall. It was like, no, let's actually sit down and, you know, this was the first Marvel comic, the first Marvel superhero team. Let's actually sit and think. Okay, before we start shooting, let's sit down and think about how we're going to do this.
I also really liked how they give him a little bit of backstory, but it's not like an origin story. And I like that. They've already been the Fantastic Four for a while at the beginning of this, but they find a way to give it the explanation for those who are new to it. They find a way to do it in a really interesting way that doesn't like last forever, but it gets you up to speed. And I thought it was really clever how they did that.
Yeah, I thought that was great too. The way it was done, I mean, for the time period especially, I mean, it totally tracks. And we got to actually see them doing more because we never got to the place where in the other movies where they got to be like the Fantastic Four that we knew with all the different, you know, the Rogues Gallery and the whole thing. And this kind of did a speed run of like, oh yeah, they've been heroes for a while and they've been doing, and I thought that, yeah, I thought that was really cool.
That was really well done how they did it. So anyway, real quick, let's give it a rating and then we'll talk about the spoilers.
I would say 8.5.
That mine's about 8.5. Yeah.
I mean, I might even think about this more.
I might give it a 9 too. Yeah.
I don't normally like. I can't believe I'm actually sitting here like I can't believe I liked this movie as much as I did, but I wanted to, so I have to really think about, like, did I let my desire to want this movie to be good based on the fact that I'm a huge fan of the Fantastic Four comics? Did I let that cloud my
No, because I didn't.
judgment?
I wasn't really caring either way, and I'm giving it the same rating, or maybe even a little higher than you are.
They made these characters accessible for normies, I think, in a very they humanized them. I mean, they really did. I would say this is probably one of the more, I would say since the original Iron Man, this is probably the most human that we've seen superheroes for a while. Is that because like the Marvel movies anymore?
I don't know. I've seen it done too. Like I think with WandaVision and stuff too, you see them pretty human.
Yeah, but
it was really good. So let's go into the spoiler territory because we're already 15 minutes in and we haven't even hit that part yet. So
yeah, I'm trying to like, I mean, most people know, like, look, I'm going to be honest. Most of the trailers, most of the clips you've seen, that's like the whole beginning of the movie. Like,
yeah, it's a lot of it. Yeah.
It's a lot of it. It's kind of like Superman, but the movie starts and it's very clever how they do it. They do it as, and I think they're actually letting you watch the first couple of minutes of it now on social media, but they actually do it as an ABC primetime special. They're celebrating the Fantastic Four. They're talking about their journey, that they were astronauts. They got their powers. They came back, and now they've been saving the world with their powers. And weirdly enough, is Mark Gatiss was the host. And I just did a video about him yesterday on Doctor Who, because he was on Doctor Who and he was on Sherlock. And I was like, I thought he looked familiar. And I'm like, I didn't quite catch who. I'm like, oh my God, that's Mark Gatiss. Anyway, and he's the one who said Doctor Who looks really tired now and they need to let it rest.
Doesn't he look tired?
Yeah.
Anyway, can we do the spoilers now?
Yeah, we're spoilers.
So turn it off if you don't want to hear spoilers. But if you want to go, if you're on the fence, go see it. It's really good. I would tell you the truth. I mean, in our opinion, we'll tell you what we honestly think, and I honestly think this one was really good.
Yeah, I would like to see if Marvel can up its game to this level going into Doomsday and Secret Wars, and then what is probably going to be a reboot. They might be okay. I don't
know. I think they did this one really well. I think they're going to throw too many things at the next one, and it's going to blow up.
Yeah,
in a bad way. Is what I think. I think when they do like little snippets and they focus on what they're supposed to focus on instead of making it, let's insert 101 different characters, things work out better. I think that they're going to probably drop the ball, but we'll see.
Well, that's what this felt like. It felt like they're like, look, let's just do a standalone Fantastic Four movie and try to do it justice, and then we'll kind of and setting it in, which, you know, spoiler, we're in spoilers, setting it in the 828. It was in the 828. You know, that lets them have a little bit more breathing room because they don't have to reference all these other superheroes. And I think some of the best superhero movies don't reference other superheroes. It's a Batman movie. It's just Batman. As far as we know, Batman's the only superhero out there. Spider-Man's the only superhero out there. And in this case, it's like, you know, Fantastic Four, and they're famous like they are in Marvel. You know, everybody loves them until they don't. But yeah, so they're basically saving the world. We find out that Sue is pregnant, and then that, of course, is, since they're famous, you know, back then they got the Life magazine, People magazine, whatever, and they're all like, "Oh my God, we're gonna have a baby."
Well, yeah, Reed's really worried that something's gonna be wrong with the baby because, you know, they've been, you know, zapped with rays, but he keeps running tests and the baby looks normal.
Looks normal, you know? Yeah. And then, you know, yada, yada, yada. They're used to saving the world from, you know, like relatively small threats, right? Well, then here comes the Silver Surfer. And, and now they're going to have this guy come eat their planet, Galactus. So you've seen that clip, I'm sure, with the surfer in Times Square, and, you know, Galactus is coming. And so they're like, okay, well, we're going to be the heroes, and we're going to preemptively, you know, we're going to fire up the rocket ship named the Excelsior, by the way. Which
yes, I caught that. Yes.
Cool. And we're going to go preemptively take care of Galactus. We're going to go see what we're up against. And then they're like, ah, shit, we are out of our league.
So yeah, they get up there, and then they track him down because they traced like her signature trail because she's too fast, and they find him at a planet that he's currently destroying. And basically, Sue's pregnant here, and when they get there, and he wants to talk to them because he scans them, and he's really fixated on the baby because he wants the baby. So he basically like, I'll let Earth survive if you give us the baby. And of course they say no.
Of course they say no, but if you're familiar with the comics, there's a history between Galactus and Franklin Richards. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna go there, both very powerful beings. But yeah, he wants the baby. And she's like, hell no, you can't have the baby. And so they skedaddle back to Earth. But there is a really cool chase scene with the Silver Surfer. Even though I wasn't a huge fan of them gender swapping the surfer, that chase scene was like right out of the comics. Like,
yeah, it was really good.
It was
also,
very cool.
It was funny because Galactus, I guess, triggers her to go into labor. So they get her back on the ship.
Like, I'm gonna take
she
the
has
baby.
the baby really quick and really fast and really easy. And I'm like, let's be honest here. They're in zero G. There'd be fluids everywhere. I'm just saying.
No, they're invisible. They're invisible fluids.
Invisible fluids, but you still feel it hit you. I can tell you from experience that it would not be that clean, that easy. There's like your pants go shooting off, and here comes a baby. That's not. That's kind of how they did it.
I thought it was weird that they actually in a Disney superhero movie they actually took the time to show her pants come off. I was like, I think we just kind of assumed.
Yeah.
Like,
So, and then she has the baby really quick, barely any inconvenience, hardly any contraction. Somehow she's able to mask the ship as she makes them invisible as she's having the baby. And it takes them a month to get back to Earth. And the rumor about trapping the Silver Surfer in a black hole or whatever, it's true. They do for like temporarily, trap her
buys them
there.
some time.
Yeah, they get them some time. So they go back to Earth. And then, there's Galactus is still coming. People are mad at them because they basically tell him like, well, he would have left us alone if we gave him the baby. And then they're mad like, why didn't you give him the baby? And it's like, because it's our kid.
Yeah.
So they hate them for a while.
Yeah. If it were me, I'd be like, I don't know what Galactus wants, man. He's an asshole. We went to space.
Yeah, I know. They admit
he said, I'm going to eat your whole damn planet, bitch. Deal with it. And I don't know, man.
Yeah,
he's
they
mad.
tell
He's
them.
coming.
And so everybody hates them then because like, why didn't you give him your baby? It's like, well, of course they didn't give him their baby. And they're like, well, if we just give him the baby, he'll leave us alone. So you have some time where like, it's not very long, but they hate him. And that gets resolved because they come up with a plan to try to.
Yeah, Sue gives an inspiring speech.
Now that was, it was inspiring, but it was also kind of like, But they come up with a plan where they're going to teleport Earth away into another solar system, which I'm like, how do you know the Earth's going to survive another solar system?
I wonder that too, but I'm like,
there's a little bit of play area there, I think.
He's Mr. Fantastic. And that's the thing too. Like, I mean, this movie, because of the time period, because they're saying it in the 60s, like you immediately have this suspension of disbelief. They set up that like literally any batshit crazy thing can happen in this world. And that's why I loved so much about early Marvel was that, yeah, it was world outside your window, but significantly more batshit crazy. And especially the space stuff, the cosmic Marvel stories were just insane. And they just kind of ran with it. And that's what I liked about this was like, yeah, we got, the mole man living underground. And we got, super apes, and we got all this other crazy. So it's like, okay, fine. We've got a giant guy that's going to eat your planet too. Sure we do.
Yeah, well, it's a different universe too.
Yeah.
So, they come with the plan that they're gonna go around the world with these different teleportation device things, so they can literally cover the whole globe and move the globe at once. And that's why he has a beard, because they conserve power to save up power to run this thing. They have to ask the whole world to, go on to flash alerts and like no power for a while every day to try to save up energy, which I don't see how that would work. But okay.
He uses sander to shave, which is
So he stops shaving because they don't have power half the time, so that's why he has a beard.
Which is kind of like, okay, whatever. But I'm like, okay, well, I don't really. I mean, that wasn't a deal breaker for me. I just thought it was weird in the trailers to be like, why does Ben have a beard? Why is
it's weird. I just want to say that what would it look like the beard? It was probably a combo, and they found a way to put it in. But so they were going to get ready, and they're powering up the whole world, and they're going to move the world, and it's going to work. But then the Silver Surfer shows up and starts destroying every machine around the world, and then except for one more in New York, and Johnny stops her, and he learned her language. It's a whole thing with that. I'm not going to go into all the details. And basically what you find out is, she saved their world because she became the surfer instead, which, that's not a surprise. But, and he said about that could he help them save our world, and she's like, no, I can't help you do any of that, I'm not gonna do that kind of thing, which she's gonna do it. And so then the only choice is to lure Galactus there with using Franklin to try to.
You missed it because he shamed the hell out of her. He's like, well, fine, here's a bunch of recordings of people begging for.
Oh, that's true. He did.
To be spared, bitch. Here you go. You deserve it.
Yeah, he's like, do you remember this world?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're terrible. And yeah, it's true. So they have one thing left that can open a portal, and then like instead of moving the Earth, they'll just move him to another place and send him way far away, like millions of years. It would take him millions of years to get back, kind of thing is what they said. So they use the baby, but he figures out that they switched the baby into another, and they have the baby over at their headquarters, and so they all fight to stop him, but he gets the baby anyway. And what are you gonna say?
I was just thinking, okay, there's one thing I was kind of like, okay, I mean, I love seeing Galactus, but it was also kind of like the bit from The Simpsons where Homer's like, floor pie, floor pie.
Oh, when he grabbed the dirt, you mean?
No, well, no, he does. He grabs the dirt and he smells it. But that was like floor pie, the baby, because they just basically just put the baby and just here it is. Here's the baby. Come get it. I'm just gonna leave the baby unattended in the middle of Times Square.
That's what they did do.
Come over and get the baby, Galactus. Num num num. Here's a baby, fresh baby right here.
They did do it that way.
And they're like, oh, we're going to have the other baby in the Baxter building with the windows open with the robot.
Right. So he gets the baby. Like... He gets Franklin. And he's like going to take Franklin somewhere else. And Sue like loses her shit as any mother would because she already crashed the car into a building trying to get her kid. And so she uses her power to force him back and he tries to fight her. But, she uses everything she has because, you're a mom and that's your kid. It's like when you hear stories about moms lifting up cars because kids are underneath or whatever. So she goes full mom force on him, which people are like, that's just woke. No, that's called being a mom. And mom's going to do what she can, fight to the death to save her kids. That's what they're going to do. Yeah. So she, pushes them back, and then everybody else scrambles to get the gate open, and they push him in, and he's going to pull himself back out, but then the Silver Surfer shows up because Johnny's going to sacrifice himself. She pushes Johnny out of the way, and she pushes herself into Galactus and pushes them both into the black hole, and they disappear. But then Sue Storms dies because, she gave it her all and killed her.
Yes, but thankfully, they have a magic baby.
They do. They call it the magic baby.
They do call it the magic. So all the jokes that you could make about this, they make it themselves in the movie. Like, oh yeah, sexy silver naked woman, magic baby.
I know, and you're like, Johnny likes women. Yeah, Johnny likes space. Yeah, Yeah, they tell you, but it fits. It doesn't come off as lame actually when they do it. So yeah, baby saves her. They set the baby on her chest because baby wants down and wants on her, and then it doesn't even weird how he does it. It's just that he's like sitting on her, and then has his hand on her, and then it sounds weird, but it wasn't weird how he did it. And
it's
then
like, mommy, get up.
Yeah, he's like crying because his mommy won't wake up, and then she wakes up, and then they're all yay, we won, and then they like a year later they're doing a retrospective, and then 4 years later you see them again. Well, her and the baby.
Post credit, mid credit screen or scene.
Screen. Then you see
Doom, Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
Part of Dr.
Sorry,
Doom.
my mind froze.
The back of Dr. Doom's
10-1 that was not Robert Downey Jr. in that scene.
I don't think so. But if Disney's
it was
paying him
a couple seconds, they're going to save him for the big one.
Now they did set him up earlier. I don't know if you caught the whole like UN type gathering, but they had Latveria was not there. Yeah, they're like Latveria abstains. I'm like, yeah, of course he would because he's an asshole.
They did do that.
So I'm thinking at this point they've already fought Dr. Doom at some point because they've been around for a while, and obviously Latveria is a problem. So I don't know.
Yeah, they did allude to it earlier. So that's basically the movie, and like any movie, it's way better in person than the way you make it sound.
Yeah. So, it. I mean, that's like I heard the spoilers. I'm like,
but they were. Okay, now what was the original ending? Because they end up being true. What everything I heard. What was the original ending?
There were a couple things that were missing from this. Originally, I heard that the angry mob was going to dismantle Herbie.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
Because they were furious about them not giving up their baby. And the original ending was going to be Galactus does actually eat the Earth, and then they wind up teleporting to
that one I heard before too, but I think they're going to have to probably go to 616 because of the Doomsday thing, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They're going to have a whole like Doom's going to escape to the 616 with Franklin, probably using Franklin.
They're going to have to go after him. Yes.
And I'm wondering if Secret Wars are going to use Franklin to make Battle World or something. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm I'm not gonna say Marvel's saved, right?
No,
occasionally
they crapped the bed one too many times, but yeah.
But this is a kernel of corn in the poo. This is like it's the best Marvel thing I've seen anyway since, again, Spider-Man No Way Home. Take it or for whatever it's worth. Longtime Fantastic Four fan, love the comics, and I like the movie. I liked it quite a bit. So
there you go.
All right, we gonna wrap it up?
Yes, it's been half an hour.
Yeah, it usually is. So there we go, guys. Again, these are just opinions. You don't have to agree. I don't care.
That's fine. We don't get mad about that. We understand if you don't agree with us. That's cool. We're not gonna shame you for not liking it, or we don't do that.
Yeah. All right. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.